Morning, everyone! It's Friday, July 3rd, and Orange and I just got our hands on Mayfield's 2026 CXO Network Survey. And folks, this one is packed with numbers that'll make your head spin. We're talking 266 CIOs, CTOs, CAIOs, from the Fortune 50 to Global 2000, and what they reveal about where Agentic AI actually stands right now. Orange, you ready?
Absolutely, Banana. And I have to say, this report is refreshing because it's not more hype. It's real deployment data from people who are actually writing the checks and building the systems. Let's dig in.
Cold open, 42%. That's the headline. 42% of enterprises already have AI agents in production. Not piloting, not exploring, in production, handling real workflows. And if you add the ones actively piloting, we're at 72%. That's the fastest shift in enterprise automation Mayfield has seen in 5 years of running this survey.
So the "are we doing this" question is dead. The real question is now, how do we scale? But here's where it gets interesting, Banana, because 58% of these same executives say data readiness is their #1 blocker. This is the 5th year in a row data quality has been the top choke point.
5th year. That's not a technical problem anymore. That's an organizational one. And Mayfield's non-obvious insight is worth repeating. Features don't win the deal. Data readiness wins the deal. You could have the best agent architecture in the world. If your data is a mess, none of it matters.
Let's talk about who's actually making the decisions, because that shifted dramatically. For the first time, line of business leaders, the people running operations, finance, customer experience, they now have equal or greater buying power than CIOs and CTOs. LOB leaders are the largest decision-maker group at 46%, surpassing CIOs at 38% and CTOs at 38%.
That's a fundamental reshaping of enterprise procurement. If you're an AI company trying to sell into the enterprise, you're not just pitching the IT department anymore. You're pitching the head of operations, the VP of customer experience. And they want something different. They want to test it in their own environment first. 70% of CXOs say self-serve trials are now a requirement.
That's actually healthy. Show me, don't tell me. But let's talk about the governance gap, because this is where I get nervous. 84% of CXOs say security and compliance are non-negotiable, table stakes, yet 60% report having no formal AI governance framework at all, early stage or none.
That's a speed versus control tension that's going to snap at some point. Enterprises are deploying agents faster than their governance can keep up. And here's a fascinating finding. AI governance has actually overtaken cybersecurity as an emerging board-level priority. Boards are waking up and demanding visibility, control, accountability. That wasn't on the radar 6 months ago.
What about the build versus buy question? Because everyone asks me this.
Hybrid is king. 65% mix internal builds with vendor solutions. Only about 10% are vendor-only. Enterprises want control over core workflows and flexibility at the edges. And here's the budget story. 91% of CXOs plan to increase their agentic AI budgets in 2026. Over half are actively reallocating from legacy vendors to AI-native alternatives. That's a massive signal.
So the incumbents should be worried. Let's talk about where that money is actually going. Top use case? Developer productivity. 70% of CXOs identified it as a top 3 priority, and the quotes in this survey are incredible. One CTO said a 6-month developer can now deliver at the level of someone with 3 years of tenure after embedding AI across their development workflow. That acceleration lets senior engineers do the ambitious creative work instead of backlog cleanup.
And it's not just devs. We've got real ROI stories across the board. AI agents in contact centers cutting wait times from 42 minutes to under a minute, reducing abandonment from 27% to near zero. Another exec quoted agents generating $15 million in revenue, issuing 1.5 million boarding passes, resolving 93% of customer inquiries autonomously.
But let's be real about the friction. The CIO of Wingstop, Chris Fallon, had a sobering quote. He said agentic systems sound powerful, but getting them to actually do work inside Oracle Fusion, Salesforce, and other enterprise apps is still difficult. ChatGPT is great for recommendations and gathering information, but it's not yet ready to post GL transactions or process refunds safely and reliably.
That's the honest take we need more of. The hype says agents can do everything. The reality says interoperability is still the decades-old enterprise problem it's always been. But here's what's different. The momentum is real. 72% are in production or piloting. Boards are paying attention. Budgets are growing. The vendors who solve the data onboarding and governance problem are going to own the next decade.
And to wrap, the most durable outcome these CXOs are seeing isn't just efficiency, it's improved decision-making, reducing cognitive load. One EVP said the biggest ROI surprise so far, reducing cognitive load. That's the real promise of agentic AI, not replacing people, but making the people who are already there dramatically more effective.
Key takeaways. 1. Production is the new baseline. 42% in production. The debate is over. 2. Data readiness is the critical path. Features don't win. Data does. 3. Governance can't wait. 60% lack formal frameworks. 4. The vendor landscape is shifting. Over half are moving budget to AI native. 5. Business leaders are now driving the buying decisions.
That's the Mayfield 2026 CXO survey. Full report is linked in the description. If you're navigating this transformation, take the data seriously. The patterns are clear. And as always, subscribe for daily breakdowns every morning at 7 a.m. Central.
We'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Keep building.